Hi there, I'm Lisa Taylor, and welcome to Choose to Be You. If you are a member of our community, you know very well that I am a firm believer in the fact that we need to courageously choose to be who God made us to be. We need to courageously step into that authentic place of our true being. So many people in the world are struggling with being happy, feeling fulfilled, finding life purpose. And science shows that it comes down to, do you really know who you are? Do you really know what you want? Well, over my life, I have struggled mightily with these questions, as we all do. And I've come up with three simple steps to get to this level of clarity. Getting clear about who you are and what you want, being consistent in a daily practice that helps you get to that clarity, and then courageously going out and contributing your true authentic self to the world, because that's what's needed. The world has need of you being you. Well, recently I did a 5-hour live event and I invited 9 global thought leaders to the table to talk about this very subject, choose to be you, and courageously choosing to be who God made us to be. So I welcome you to listen to these interviews. I'm bringing them to you one by one. So let's now begin with the next introduction.
I want to say I'm just going to take just a breather before I dive right into the next introduction, because our next guest is really going to light up the stage here. So if you are interested in, I want to just reiterate the sort of offer that I'm giving, because everybody else is sort of offering things. I feel like, you know what, I really want to offer something. And I have several programs. One is called Choose to Be You, which this show is named after. One is called See You to Be You. And those are both kind of programs. One is a 2-session program. One is a 7-session program, which can go on 7 weeks, depending on how many people are involved in it. And one is called Morning Metaphys, which is a daily, kind of like what Terrellyn was talking about. It's actually a daily, every morning for 15 minutes, where I just meditate and pray, and then I show up and I just let the spirit move me, and I say whatever is on my heart that morning to whoever is showing up. And it is a monthly thing that I have some people in there who've been there for almost a year. So it's a small but mighty group, and it's growing every day. So if you're interested in any of these things, please feel free to go to lisataylorcs.com and use the code, because you've shown up here. This is your bonus. Use the code Choose Me, and you will get 40% off whatever you choose on that website. So there's also the potential for a healing session or healing treatment, or you can just go and kind of explore what's on the website. But if you have made the choice to be here, I want to honor that, because knowing that you are who you are and that there's no one else like you on the planet means that you taking the time to do this and to honor trying to be more clear about who you are and then going out and expressing that means the planet's going to be a better place, because you are being who you are. And so I just want to say thank you to those of you who have shown up and are here, and give you a little reward for that, because I would love to have you join me as well. So on to our next guest. She is a 5-time award-winning motivational speaker. She's also a master leadership trainer, utilizing the skills she developed as a TV journalist and talk show host for more than a decade. She took the top prize at the International Public Speaker Contest with her ability to raise the energy in an audience with her signature speech, The M Factor. M is marketing, messaging, masterminding, and more. And now she's the CEO of Drive Marketing and host of The Meredith Show. She passionately helps individuals and companies reach their personal and business goals. Please help me in welcoming Meredith Allan to the studio. Meredith! Hey!
Hi there.
Hi!
It's such a joy to be with all of you. And it's
Oh my gosh. I love your color. That is the best color. Wow.
Thank you so much.
You got a haircut.
I did.
How did you get a haircut during COVID? I had to cut my own hair last night.
I cut my own hair.
Oh, good. We both did. I cut my own hair last night. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I cut my own hair. I used to cut my kids' hair, but now
it was a big haircut, Lisa. Thank you.
I know. You cut it short.
Much off.
Yeah, it looks really good. I like it.
Thank you so much.
Good.
It's a
so
joy.
Meredith, you tell me about, like, I don't even know. We know each other a little bit, but I don't know your history. Like, how did you end up as a journalist and an anchor, and then how did you transition from that into motivational speaking, and what attracted you to that path?
Well, my mother would probably tell you I was born mic'd up and ready to go. I
Yeah, yeah,
love
yeah.
sharing people's stories, and that passion has been a lifelong endeavor. And my mom always encouraged following my dreams, and my father also instilled at a very young age to follow your bliss. And I
Yeah.
think that's because that was not my parents' story. I mean, they worked hard, and there were many difficult, trying times. I even remember growing up living in a very large house, and then one day it was time to move into a tiny place, not really knowing as a child what was going on. But Dad was an entrepreneur. He tried a couple of failed endeavors, and then he sort of found his niche in the restaurant world, which inspired me. And my mother always worked. In fact, it wasn't until near college when I discovered that not everybody's mom worked. And I was confused.
Wait,
what do moms do all day when dads are at work?
yeah, yeah.
So it inspired me always to consider that I got to have a career. And my father was really stuck on this thing because he kind of hated the restaurant business. And he was really good at it. He learned to turn poorly profiting restaurants into amazing money machines. And so I learned that you can create magic even if the circumstances aren't right, even if the conditions would say you're crazy. My father's thing was go for it anyway. So with those magical spirits and those souls backing me through my childhood, I wound up in a high school, as luck would have it, that had a broadcast TV station.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And
that's unusual back then.
Yeah, it really was. And it was
Yeah.
sort of amazing because every morning you could go live and share a little bit about something inspirational, whether it be the weather for the day or a great story on campus. And at one point, Lisa, I just looked into the camera and said, people get paid to do this? I am all in.
I'm doing this.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I want this for a job.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I always like to share with people is there was one speaker in an assembly in my high school, and for my entire life, I will never forget this gentleman's wise words. He looked into the audience of children. I really was a child still in high school. And he said, less than 1% of the world actually sets goals. So if you set goals, you're 99% ahead of the rest of the world.
Wow.
This just burned into my soul, Lisa. Like, I am taking that secret and I am going for it. And if you're going to go, like my dad always said, go all the way. So that really led me to a series of unbelievable events, starting with the fact that we had a really rough year, my senior year in high school. My mother unexpectedly got laid off. And at the same exact time, my father was managing a restaurant in a rough area in Philadelphia that had 2 fatal shootings right in the little strip where my dad's restaurant was. And he made the powerful decision for his safety to opt out abruptly of that restaurant. And it caused just pure chaos. There were no savings, if you will, to send me to college.
Yeah.
So my dad was very passionate. So that was okay. I learned very quickly how to fill out massive applications. This is before email days, like writing essays until my fingers hurt.
So were you aware at the time that this was for you and not happening to you? Like, were you conscious of that kind of mindset where it sounds like you had a very positive upbringing, so you may have been, but I don't think people at that age tend to feel like, oh, everything's happening to me, and they react to things a lot.
I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I didn't have the faith that held me through that does now, and I think I had a byproduct of confidence that I didn't even, it was almost by accident. My mother's and father were so loving. And, there were some people, I am of the Jewish faith, and I used to hide symbols around my neck. I was taught that when you're on TV, you hide that, tuck it in, Meredith, But generally speaking, I was told that who I was just fine. but almost to compartmentalize. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't until later in life when I went to a predominantly Christian college, which was a gorgeous experience. And I had one Jewish friend who was very proud and invited me to celebrate this huge tradition that she had called a Hanukkah Spectacular, which meant invite all your friends, Jewish, Catholic, Christian, Muslim, whatever, to your house and cook these wonderful foods. And then at the same time, there was a woman who just showed up on campus and invited me to her home and to take me to some services that I actually didn't grow up with. Though I was raised Jewish, we weren't probably a seriously practicing family.
Right.
And it was there I saw the magic of traditions and community, and I learned this tremendous respect for all faiths, for the gorgeous spiritual opportunity to just connect with human beings, one human to another, to lift each other. And then people would say, hey, when's that Hanukkah thing coming? I want that matzah, whatever you call it, soup, matzah ball soup, you know, and like good food and joy and energy, I've learned, is what really connects us. And so, you know, I kept circling back to this speaker and how one person on one stage literally influenced the trajectory of my entire life. And I can tell you, by the time I turned 30, Lisa, every single personal goal, become a TV anchor, work as a morning anchor person, all of it, all these little boxes began to start being checked. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness.
And then what do you do when you've reached all of those goals and you get to the end of that, I've set all these goals, then how do you, now that you've done this all your life, how do you set a goal? Like, what is the process for you in setting a goal?
Well, it's very simple. You and I are extremely aligned. The first thing is clarity. So not just thinking like I have a goal, writing it out. You know, I have my goals like right in front of me at all times. You know, what's the goal? I put it on a board. I speak it. So we call that manifesting, of course. So really seeing it, feeling it, embodying it. And then my second pillar is connection. So are you connected to your gifts? And the purpose of the gifts, there's a beautiful quote, you know, is of course, not just having them, but giving them away.
Right.
So when I learned that, it wasn't about me at all. It was about what am I up to in this world to make the world a better place? And so if you're clear and connected, the other piece of connection is sharing it.
Yeah. Contribution, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Contribution. And also, so when you speak a goal aloud, you'll notice people hold you high. They check in on that goal. They're like, I remember
you know, that's so true. Is that kind of a law of setting goals, that if you speak it out into the world, it has more teeth, it has more power, it has more...
I call it momentum. I have a whole talk about this. Yes, it gains momentum, and there's magic and grace in that, because, you know, if you're sitting at home wishing and hoping and wanting, that's great. And if you're getting out into the world, whether that means on Zoom these days or in a connection opportunity in a chance meeting as you pass somebody walking your dog and share something that's on your heart and what it is that you're up to in the world, that is generosity at its finest.
Yes.
That's connecting. That's being present. And that's also energy.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, we've had a number of guests talking about that. So let's go back to the clarity piece for just a second, because for me, that there's sort of clarity comes from, you know, really understanding who we are, really understanding, getting clear about what is my identity that is distinct from everybody else on the planet, everyone else in the universe that has ever been, that ever will be. What is it that I have to give? What is it that I can bring forward? And what does that process look like for you? Do you have a system to maintain that clarity? Do you, like, what is it? What is that for you?
Okay. So I think that I was born to help people share their stories. I now know that, but it was a long journey of horrible sideways and throughways. I don't want to pretend, like, I hate it when people pretend, oh, it was so easy. I had a goal.
I knew when I was 3.
Yeah. Okay.
know?
Yes, you might know, but you get out there, and I hate it. And I mean, I hated working in traditional news, and I did it for years. I was a TV anchor for like 10 years.
How did you
And
feel? How did that hating feel to you though? Like you would
it
show
was
up to
like
work.
a dread of going into work at times. It was a dread of speaking about fires and murders and murders and fires and kidnappings. And by the way, boss, I'll be right back after I get that soundbite of somebody after somebody was just, lost their loved one. It didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And we've all been there. We've forced ourselves with a story. The stories we tell ourselves can be so toxic. My story for many years was, I invested in this. I did this track. I've always wanted to retire Barbara Walters. I am on my way. This is how Barbara did it. She slugged through, and she went up against.
We force ourselves to go against our natural inclinations because our head has said, well, this is what your goal was. So that's when the goal, kind of reaching for the goal, isn't lining up with who you are, and it's not really serving you ultimately.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
on the course of somebody else's dream or
Right.
your old story. And guess what? We get to rewrite the story. That's
So
where
the goal, so there's something in here about the goal, like the clarity of knowing what syncs up for you, and then setting goals that are in alignment with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I tortured myself for so long, and then there's always, the universe works in your favor, I think, if you're a good person. And one day I was on the anchor desk, bored out of my mind, by the way, because you could literally, it's the same 3 headlines. Like I said, fire, murder, kidnapping, murder, fire, kidnapping. Sometimes it's reordered. And it's just, I mean, I just got to a point where it wasn't fun anymore. People wrote everything for me. When you're a TV anchor, you don't write anything. So I would literally be so bored, Lisa, I'd rewrite the headlines before I go on. I mean, come on.
I'm going to rewrite the teleprompter.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, I mean, yes, I can read the teleprompter without proofreading it, but I'd reread it over and over again because I was bored. And we all have something bigger for the game. I've never told this story. So in the middle of the night, because I was working horrible hours for a while there on a morning show, which was allegedly my dream job. And I'm like, this is not working. I remember emailing the United Way. And I didn't know it at the time, but for some reason, my email for interest in something for more meaning. I remember saying, like, I'm looking for something with meaning, with depth. Some people, we just live on the surface, and this whole good evening, it's 5:42, and here are your headlines, is really superficial. At the end of the day, I wanted something with meat. So I emailed my truth randomly in the middle of the night to the United Way. And the president and CEO of the United Way in South Carolina got my email. And he said, I would like to take you to lunch, Meredith, and talk more about this.
Wow.
And we talked a little bit. He said, I think you're in the wrong business. He said, I think you would be magnificent as a communicator for organizations who need people with your media savvy. And that was really it. I did not know what he was setting into motion, what he planted in my mind, but my entire life, I help people master their message. So many people have a gorgeous story.
Yeah.
And my vision is that you don't keep it to yourself. You give it away.
Yeah.
And that inspires others for the path to greatness.
Well, and so essentially you're giving people the tools to choose to be who they are. You're saying, okay, there is a toolkit. You don't have to worry anymore. Here's a toolkit. I can show you how to do it. It's actually really silly because a lot of people don't have a clue how to do it. Like, okay, it's nice, Lisa, that you're telling us to choose to be ourselves, but how? Like, what do I do? So, I talk about, and the show talks about sort of clarity, consistency. You gain the confidence. You have the courage to go out there and do it. So is there, because you're a good example of this, because you have found a path that lines up with who you are, is there a consistent practice that you do that gives you that confidence to continue doing what you're doing and staying in your heart space?
Yes. And I call this rituals for success. People think some people, it's not for everybody, but I definitely encourage everybody to find their rituals for success.
Yes.
So what that looks like for me is rising every day at 6 a.m. with my sweet fur baby and taking her for a walk. And so just getting out into nature. I live in my dream place now, and that's fairly new. I live in Marina Del Rey, right outside my window. The yachts are literally going by right now. They park under my window. It's so cool. And I take this in, and I'm just in so much gratitude because I'm just a regular girl from the suburbs of Philadelphia. And at times my parents were so poor. I mean, unbelievably uncertain times I've lived through. And so the first thing is gratitude. I literally write down 10 things I'm grateful for every day, and then 10 things that I look forward to being grateful to.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, 10 things you're grateful for, and then 10 things you look forward to being grateful for. So it's kind of like imagining the good that you see, that you would like to see in your life.
Seeing it done.
Seeing it done.
This view, I'm going to show you right now. This view that I now have, I envision my entire life. My entire life. And, you know, this is.
Oh, good. We're going outside. It's Southern California, people. Marina Del Rey, just south of Santa Monica. Oh my gosh, you are right there. Look at that. You are like, are you on the first floor, or are you on the second floor?
Second and third floor. I have a townhouse.
Second and third. Okay.
Yeah. So my bed.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah. I won't take you into my bedroom today, but I have ceiling windows in there.
It's like, no. Thank you, Meredith. I appreciate that.
But you know,
so things that you're grateful for and things that you want to be grateful for in the future. I love that.
Yes.
That's like, I'm repeating it because I want everybody to write that down. That is a huge practice. Okay. So what does that get you doing that?
It really creates a certain level of courage because we don't feel courage every day.
Yeah. What? So how does that relate to courage though? Explain.
Because if you see it done, you have the courage inside when I don't feel like getting up at 6 a.m., I go for it anyway. Because I know that the universe doesn't pay for this place. I get to be present and be in service. And it doesn't happen if I just kick up my feet, you know? Right. And, you know, eat bonbons.
Well, what if I don't want to be in service? What if I want the universe to serve me? Like, okay, everybody's talking about service and I have to go give. What if I don't feel like giving?
Good luck. Because
really, it's just that negative. Like, really, it's just like, well, like, what if you were coaching somebody and they said, you know what, I really just don't feel like serving. I just feel like I deserve a break and I want the universe to help me out for once in a lifetime.
I do believe in short breaks. For instance, this is actually against my regular practice. I normally do nothing on Saturdays but relax.
I feel honored that you've done this here.
Thank you. I really considered that saying no, and then I thought, but if my mission, this is congruent with my mission, you know, if my mission is to inspire others, I can spare 30 minutes, you know, to join Lisa in this beautiful endeavor. And, you know, I don't often do that, but it felt right. And I think that that's the point. You get to recalibrate. You get to, if you are the designer of your life and your dreams and your goals, then you get to change your mind sometimes. That's a powerful decision too.
How do we encourage people to do that if they can't see that that's going to be a good thing? If they just have had such a bad experience where over and over and over again, they've been disappointed and somebody says, well, just change your mind, just choose differently. And they go, you know, I've tried that and I'm just exhausted. And it's like, I just don't have it in me. Like, what can we say to help people feel there is possibility available if we would only shift?
I often share a lot of personal stories of hitting rock bottom and try to connect with possibility. I think the truth is we cannot make anybody do anything, but we can inspire and motivate them. And as you said, give these tools of rituals for success that inevitably, if you are consistent, as you said, Lisa, I believe wholeheartedly in that. It's like, you can't be somewhat pregnant. You're either absolutely pregnant or you're not. There's no middle ground.
Like,
and that
on or off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do gratitude for what you have, gratitude for what you are going to have. what you're going to have in the
Yes.
future. And then what's the next part of your practice?
My ways of being. So I write down, am I committed to being loving today, generous, rigorous? I really understand the one thing that I've learned that's really majestic is the doing in itself will not get you there. It's who you get to be. And if you are committed to being loving and generous and taking care of yourself, as you said, burnout is a huge reality. I have burnt myself to a crisp 10 times over. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
And the other side of that is I will go into prayer. I'm a studier of what's called Kabbalah. That simply, in its simplest term, means being the light. I'm committed, no matter what, to light up a broadcast in this case for you and the viewers. And to just in difficult situations, remind myself that I just get to be the light. I can't always change somebody else's behavior, but that recommitment to myself. So there's a prayer that recommits to that every day that I do. It's called the Anabacoa. And then I do yoga. And yoga is a big ritual for me. And meditation.
Yeah.
So all of that. And that sounds like a lot, but actually I used to not do those things and I would have tremendous stress. Being an entrepreneur, people think you sit around and have people serve you and do things. It's so far from the truth. There is so much pressure and stress that comes up when you own your own company or you're running down a dream.
Yeah.
And if you don't take care of yourself, I have to be honest. I have a lot of women in my community who have, just like me, burnt out. And so I designed a program that helps prevent that with teaching meditation, taking personal time. And I have a personal trainer in my community that works with every one of my ladies, and now remotely, which is super fun. Because if you're not taking care, mind, body, and soul of yourself, you will slow down your dream. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. All right. So we don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. We're running out of time. All right. So give me, what is the strongest advice you can give someone who will set them off on the right path?
Stop lying to yourself. Stop making excuses. And the stories that you tell yourself, whether it's I'm not enough, it isn't the right time, I don't have enough money, are literally stories. And once you recognize that your stories and excuses are absolutely just stories and excuses, you can learn to be a loving interruption for yourself.
Wait, I love that. You can learn to be a loving interruption for yourself. That's a cool statement. I like that.
Yes.
You can learn to be a loving interruption. So I can learn to be a loving interruption to those stories, beliefs, limitations, whatever it is, those bags that I've been carrying all this time, lugging around.
They're so heavy, Lisa.
They're so heavy. It's like, drop them already.
Yes, set them on fire. Get rid of them.
Go back to the divine porter. God is standing there saying, can I take your bag? Can I take your bag? It's like, no, I got it. Can I take your bag? It's like, we just give them. Just give them to God.
And one more nugget I would like to say, and you don't have to do it alone. Lisa, you are such an example of that. That if we have to really pretend that we're doing it alone, I don't care where you live. I live alone in this place.
Right.
I am so connected to friends, family, faith, community. I've built a community. I join communities. I try wherever I go to share that light. And that's the secret.
Okay, loving interruption and reach out to someone.
Yes.
Connect with someone.
Yes.
Don't give up. Go connect with someone. Get out of yourself. It's interesting because Jeffrey was just talking about that when he was deathly ill with COVID and double pneumonia at the same time during the height in New York City. And he was put in a hospital room next to somebody from Wuhan. It's like, oh dear. It's like, and he managed his mind, he chose to do something for the people around him and was funny for them and lifted their spirits. So reaching out, getting out of self can bring a lot of kind of that life force, that life energy to us. As we give it away, it fills in from the other side, right?
Absolutely.
And you are a perfect example of that, because it's like you beam out and it just keeps going. It's like this endless stream of light. There's never an end. Meredith, it's just like shining, shining, shining. Like your batteries don't run out.
Oh, they do. They do. At about 9 o'clock.
It's like bedtime. Well, wait, Meredith, I don't remember if you had something that you wanted to offer the audience. Did you have
I do. It's just a free gift. Would that be okay? Yes or yes?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I have figured out that there is a long list of things that you can do to build your visibility and share your story. So if you're committed to taking a stand for something in your community or career and your life, then there are literally a ton of ways that you can share it with the world. It's just really congruent with how you can master your message and then broadcast your brilliance, which is a program that I run and that I love. And so anyway, there's a little free gift. You just have to enter your email.
So they go to themeredithshow.com/build your visibility. Build dash. Yep. Okay. All right. So they go to that. So click on that link. Now, one of the things that I want to ask, and I haven't really asked the other guests, is it true that these are only available during the live show, or can they do that after they leave the live show?
You won't. It's not a public link, meaning if you go to my website, it's
not
okay.
Searchable. However, so only the people here will know about it.
Well, what you can do if you'd like, though, is you can email me if you'd like, if you have any technical difficulties, for instance, receiving it.
Okay.
No worries. And it's not something that I mind sharing. It's just not prominent on my page. So I don't want you to feel sad if you didn't.
All right. Meredith, thank you so much for taking time on a Saturday, because I know that's a big deal. And I feel very honored that you broke your tradition of not doing these things on Saturdays. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And this is your Sabbath. So
yes, thank you.
Even doubly so. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your being here. So much love to you. And I will talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
We'll talk soon. Thank you, Lisa.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us. I am Lisa Taylor, and this is Choose to Be You. We are bringing you this series of interviews that we did during a live event when I invited 9 global thought leaders to the table to talk about this subject. So please do watch for the other ones in the series. They are posted here on YouTube, and you can watch them all. Be in touch with me at lisataylorcs.com if you would like to know more. And I look forward to your being a member of this community. We are mighty, and we are strong, and we are changing the world. If you can see who you are, you can be who you are. And the world has need of you being authentically who you are meant to be. So much love to you, and do join us next time. Thanks for being here.